Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today we are going to install the hardware in my latest node in my Ceph cluster. And this was something that wasn't that important before because I had a working Ceph cluster. And then I started backing things up and I started training the cluster, and I had too much in the cluster and some of the hard drives are slowly failing. So I actually need to add more space into the Ceph cluster to make it whole again and make it less brittle. So let's switch over to my screen here, and this was the node that I wanted to add. I have bought hardware now. There is a story about my hardware here. Was no problem with the memory, or I have this old expansion card where I have my actual drive that I will install in this. It was more with the hard drive. So the hard drive was something that I wanted to buy refurbished because I would like to renew and reuse things. But buying things from the US or the UK at the moment isn't really feasible for many reasons. Not going to go into the politics about that. But it's just not a great idea at the moment. So I usually look at Renotech, I think they are in the UK, or I look at server part deals, or what they are called, in the US. But as they are not available, I was looking at a new reseller, and I found one that had been around for like 20 years, selling things. So I thought they would be a great fit to actually get some hardware. The sad part was that they did not deliver at all. So the problem I had was I was contacting them, telling them that I needed a hard drive. They had this kind of deal going around that should be something that enabled me to buy a hard drive. And it was a fairly good price as well. So I was like, okay, this sounds great. I would like to buy this. But when it came to it, they did not want to sell something to me, because I asked them for a very reasonable thing. I wanted to pay by credit card. So I went to their site and they had a credit card placement. And then I thought, okay, the first thing I should do is log in. And the thing is that I tried to log in and I was already a member. So I tried to reset my password, and the reset function could not send an email to my email address. So it was, as they said, caught in my spam filter, but it never reached my email at all, not even spam, nowhere to be found. So I put the memory in here now. Let's just push it in. The next thing I'm going to do is put an SSD over here. So I'm not really sure what was going on there, because when I then contacted them after a lot of discussion back and forth, because I was sending from that email, they finally decided to send me a new password. Just created a new password, sent it over, and I could log in. So that was fine. Then I added my credit card details. So this is an expansion card that I had with an SSD on it. So I'm gonna remove that now so I can reuse it for this project instead. So I tried to put in my credit card details and everything was just fine. It said, okay, you have bought this product. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna get my hard drive for a reasonable price, and it's gonna be refurbished and so on. So it's gonna be great. Then it took a while, and then they sent me an invoice. I was like, what? I already paid for this with credit card. Extremely strange. So I contacted them and said, okay, why did you send me an invoice? Because I clearly bought this and paid for it already. And they were like, no, you haven't paid for it. Because we don't take credit card payments. Right? Well, your webpage differ in that opinion, because it clearly has credit card fields and so on, and I was able to put it all in and buy the product that way, so you clearly have it on your site. You don't honor it just. So it ended up that I had to contact my bank and get the payment cancelled and so on. And after a lot back and forth, I hope that they will honor it and just remove that payment, because, or they remove that invoice, because I will not buy from them. So I bought a hard drive from a Danish firm instead that had them in stock and so on, so much easier. So this is not the best tool for the job. I'm going to fetch another screwdriver. Precision kit with a lot of smaller screwdrivers. So that should be better for this kind of smaller screws. So I just can get it in there. And I would love to have something with a magnet, because that would be preferable and make things much easier. Can you please thread on there? There we go. So now we have added an SSD over there, and we added memory down here. So now we just need to put it back together again, and we should be able to install an operating system on this one. So let's see, we need to have this one, and now we are back at the strange way of this, how this is put together. So we need to figure out which orientation to put it, and I think that should be fine. And we also realized that the lid needs to be there, or else it will not be flat, so we can actually screw in the bottom of it. And the lid had a latch on one side, so now it should be much easier to work with. Yeah, so that was pretty much my journey of getting a hard drive. It ended up that I bought just a normal hard drive from a normal reseller. I went from 10 terabytes in size down to 8, but it should be fine. Currently I have backups of about 2 terabytes, which in a Ceph cluster means 6 terabytes, because everything is 3 copies of it. For redundancy, and backups should be redundant, so you don't lose them. So now I should be able to put these trays back here, like that. And then we have one tray here where I will put in the hard drive. And these are, as you see, these are ones where you can mount them right in the case, like this. So you should be able to put in a hard drive here easily without taking anything out. Let's try that out and see if we can get that to work. Let's see. So it needs to be oriented this way, and then we should be able to put those pegs in there like that, and then wonder how should I lock it in. Is it just a snap gesture? Trying to get the pegs over the side. Yeah. Now I've put it in there. Let's see how we should orient it. It should be oriented like this. And we should be able to push it down. And there it's in. I think it went all the way down and it snaps back and we can put the lid back on. So now we have hopefully correctly put everything into the case, and I don't think it's that interesting to see me install Debian on this host, so I will get back to you when it is installed, when I have an operating system on here with my credentials and everything like that, so I can start using it. And then we're gonna go through the very simple step of adding it to my Ceph cluster. And we are back, and it's actually a couple of days later, and the problematic thing was because of the drive. So I had bought the machine, I had bought an extra big drive for myself, and then I had an SSD, and then I also had some memory. And you saw me putting everything into the machine, but it didn't work. And I found this simple image here that might explain it. So if we switch over here, you see this image. And here, what I had was this SATA SSD with M key and B key, and that was not supported. So what I needed was a PCIe NVMe SSD with one M key. So that's what I have bought now, and it's actually recognized by the system. It looks a little bit more like this PCIe CI SSD. Doesn't really matter. This is the boot drive. I just need it to be recognized and working in my system. It doesn't really matter to me what the difference is between these. We have another image here. I wonder if that is any good. So this is an M.2 SSD, and then we had another M.2 SSD. Yeah. I don't really get this M key and B key kind of thing, but the thing to know is that the M key was the only one supported by this system. So it's now installed, it's in my rack, and I put the large hard drive in. And what I want to resolve with this addition is the problems I have here. You see I have a couple of read errors, and I also in this list here have a problem with the system being too full. So that's another thing that is a little bit problematic for me. So if we look at the different drives here, we see that one of them is filled up to 88%, and it's a 4.5 terabyte drive. So I have three 4.5 terabytes. I think I had one that had different size as well, but it's dead by now. So I have one of my nodes, I think node 2, had another drive. It's dead. It's now more of a Minecraft server. So currently I have one 9 or 10 gigabytes or 10 terabytes drive, and then one 16 terabytes drive. So those are good, and those are in systems that are a little bit larger. I think node 7 is a really large server chassis, so I could have 4 drives in that one. Node 8 is a little bit smaller, so it could only have 2 drives in it, and I have one currently. And now we're going to add another host. There's going to be host 12 in the series, and node 12 is going to have one more drive. I tried to buy this drive that was 10 terabytes. The purchase didn't really make sense. This company couldn't really send me a drive, so I've opted to buy another one that is 8 terabytes. And the new hard drive, which is really nice, we have a company in Sweden that mostly sells to businesses, and they are super quick. So I'm recording now on a Saturday, and I ordered my drive on Thursday night. So they sent it over, 1 day shipping pretty much, and it's really nice to have a new drive that I could install. So if we switch over here to my system, I have prepared a couple of things. We're going to look at those. But we see here that we have this NVMe drive, and we also have this SATA drive that we're going to install and run into my Ceph cluster. If we do sudo su, you can look at the things I did as a root. First off, I tried to add the keys, and I realized that I needed vget, so I installed vget, and then I added the keys. And then I went in and added to this Ceph list, and this is something I can show you. It's pretty much the setup for my system here. I'm running Debian Reef on Bookworm, so it's just that thing that I added there. And then I installed Ceph and Ceph Common, SmartMon tools, and then I restarted the system. So that's pretty much it there. And when it comes to what I needed to add to this host to make it working, I added the Ceph configuration for my system. And when you are creating a manual setup in Ceph, I have a video on that where I go through step by step. So you get a configuration. I copied it over here. It's my configuration with my servers, with the IP address and so on. So I'm not going to look at that now. We also have two keys here. And for obvious reasons, I don't want to show you the keys. But it's the admin key, so I can use this host and run Ceph commands on it. And then we have the bootstrap keys that I need in order to bootstrap a new OSD on this system. And when I ran BLK, so block devices, I can see that my device is called SDA. So what I'm going to do then is that I'm going to prepare this. So Ceph volume LVM prepared / dev SDA, and this is going to run through and use the keys that I added to the system in order to figure out what the new store is going to be called on this system. And it looks like I didn't have a 0 in my cluster here. Yeah, so number 1, but 0 was not taken. I guess that was node 2 that died. So it has replaced that with another 0 now, but it's down, so I need to activate it. So what we do then is do activate. We say 0, and we see up here that it has chosen 0 as a name, and then 0 here. But we also need this UUID key as well. So we will copy that one and add it after the 0 here. So this is pretty much telling the system activate 0, and to know that you are choosing the right one, we also give you that unique identifier so you know what to activate. So when we run that, it's now activated, and we can look over here. It should start up and have a different status than down, and now it's up. And now my system is in recovery mode. We see that it has assigned 205 placement groups, 227 placement groups. So it's pretty much moving placement groups over from the other drives in order to see how can I balance the system so it has the data spread over all of the different drives. And when it has figured out how many placement groups are reasonable to have on this server, it will start moving data. So the system will now go into recovery mode, and we will have a lot of recovery throughput later on here. And that will take time. And my network, even though it's a gigabit network and so on, is a little bit slower, and some of the network cards on the different machines are slower as well. So it will take a lot of time for this to balance out. So we will not wait for that. But this was pretty much what I wanted to cover today. We have now installed a new host to my Ceph cluster. We have added OSDs to that, one OSD to that system. And if we need in the future, we can just turn it off, put another drive in, and then add that OSD as well. So I'm now having 3 different hosts that I can put more drives into. So I don't really need to buy more hosts, but I have also a very diverse set of hosts. I have some smaller mini PCs that are running. I have a couple of server hardwares. I have one rack mounted smaller case, and then I have this new AOO star case as well, which I think is a really interesting form factor. But it's just going to be another node. It's not going to run any heavy loads or any extra services and so on. It's just going to handle more storage. So if you have any comments or suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you want to support the channel, there is donation links and affiliate links in the video description. And I really want to see you in the next video.